backwards. What's going on, guys? My name is Jake Marcoux. I grew up in Prince George, BC, 9 hours north of Vancouver. And when I was 8 years old, I got my first camera, this little Kodak point and shoot. I started making YouTube videos when I was 10 about my Lego characters.
This is my new clone base, and
Over the next few years, I spent my time making gaming videos, mostly about Minecraft and Call of Duty. I wanted to start a skateboard company. The name came to me as I was walking down the street to the skate park past the college in Prince George. There was a guy walking on the sidewalk on the opposite side, like smoking a crack pipe as he was going down the street, and I just thought to myself, like, damn, this is a backwoods town. After trying to create about a dozen different logos in Photoshop, I finally decided on one, and with the money I'd saved up from my first job at Domino's Pizza, I bought the first batch of backwoods shirts. Only to find out a few months later, in August of 2016, that my dad wanted to move my siblings and I south to Langley. After the move south, the branding didn't really resonate the same as when I lived in Prince George. There's about 2.3 million people that live in Metro Vancouver as opposed to 80,000 in little backwoods Prince George. Nearly everyone I told the name to thought I was talking about backwoods blunts. And the constraint of the name and branding didn't leave me much imagination for designs. In November of 2018, I took my first stab at a skate video with Backwoods Right Here, featuring my two best friends, Jesse Faber and Ante Thompson. I learned a lot from the mistakes I made making that video, and after moving to Vancouver with Ante in 2019, we started working on a new video. Spring of 2020 hit, COVID had me laid off from my job at the sawmill, and I had 3 months to myself to just skate and film. Jesse and Daryl crashed over at Ante and I's house like every weekend. I met my friends Shane, Austin, and Riley all on the same day at UBC. Shane invited us to go over to his house for salmon burgers after we got done skating, and Jesse and I couldn't say no. The homie John Hill moved back to Vancouver from the States and started skating with us, and then one day when we were at Britannia Courts, we met this guy named Jackson. A couple days later, we went out street skating, and Jackson got 5 clips in one day, and the summer of 2020 was amazing, and I'm stoked to have commemorated the memories into a video for my friends. I named the video Backwoods 2020 to represent seeing my vision through from Prince George to Vancouver, and also because of the repeating dates, because it was released on November 20th, 2020. I could have stayed living up north making gaming videos, wondering about a life that could have been living down south here in Vancouver. And after taking a year off of making videos and taking a step back to work on my own progression and other categories in my life that are important as well, I've realized that Backwoods has run its course and it's time for me to take the next step and move on. That's why I'm deciding to close Backwoods now at this time. I'm very blessed to have made so many great friends along the way, and I can't wait for you guys to see what we create in the future.
And the framework I found, which made the decision incredibly easy, was what I called, which only a nerd would call, a regret minimization framework. So I wanted to project myself forward to age 80 and say, okay, now I'm looking back on my life. I want to have minimized the number of regrets I have. And you know, I knew that when I was 80, I was not going to regret having tried this. I was not going to regret having wanted, trying to participate in this thing called
skateboarding
that I thought was going to be a really big deal. I knew that if I failed, I wouldn't regret that. But I knew the one thing I might regret is not ever having tried. And I knew that that would haunt me every day. And so when I thought about it that way, it was an incredibly easy decision.